What's happening? Welcome to the 52nd episode of the Slapstream with Djordje, live from Slapsville. And today is another special episode. But before I introduce my guest, I would like to thank all the Patreons that signed up to my Patreon. And if you haven't done that, make sure to check it out. The link is in a description box. And if you'd like to support my work, if you'd like to support the Slapstream, if you'd like to support Slap Bass, make sure to do that. You can also donate via PayPal and Venmo. The links are also in the description of this video. And special thanks to everyone that ordered t-shirts, this one. So if you haven't done that, you can go to artofslapbass.com and do that. Lots of people did it. I was kind of surprised. So thanks a lot for that. Please keep doing that. And without further ado, I would like to introduce my guest for today. It's Matt Goldpaugh. All right.
Howdy.
What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening? And slappy birthday belated.
Oh yeah. To you too as well.
Yeah.
There's been like a 10 days of lots of slappy birthdays, including the Slapstream. It's been years. Yeah. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's crazy. I still have a lot of episodes to watch, man. They're long.
Make sure to do that. We're gonna make a long one today as well.
Yeah, I tried to get you to do a short one.
You know, I feel kind of obliged that I should document all these amazing bass players. Because I feel nobody pays attention to slap bass players on the upright.
We like to slap each other on the back.
Yes, we're like a little weird community,
yeah.
But it's growing, and then lots of people are getting interested in it, and I'm really happy to see that. And the technique is developing, and all of that. So, 52 episodes. Who can? I mean, I would not be able to say that like a year ago. I thought I would maybe do 10, then I said like maybe 20, then I said like, all right, let me go to 50, and now it's 52, and then who knows, should I go to 100 or whatever?
Yeah, you're still, as long as you're still feeling up to it and it doesn't feel like work for you.
It seems like it, but I think that I have about like 50 more guys that I would like to feature, so that's kind of the number. I'm getting like a busier and busier, so it's been harder and harder to do it, but so I have to do it from hotels, right, lobbies, and
live from Houston. Houston is Slapsville today.
Exactly. I'm moving Slapsville all over the world. I would like to ask you how did this whole pandemic affected you and the band and the career? I know you've been doing lots of live streams and kind of switched to that, which lots of people did it, but just tell me your opinion about. Right. I mean, not going to get into whole vaccination thing or vaccination, but
I'm invincible now. I'm vaccinated. I'm invincible. I'm happy to get back to touring again. I mean, well, as you know, but perhaps everyone watching doesn't really know, is just that at the beginning of the pandemic, we were supposed to go on tour together, and Djordje and I stayed in touch quite a bit, just trying to make sense out of everything. And, go figure that the bass players are the ones that are trying to be like, what are we doing? And, seeing all this, but yeah, we were supposed to do a run with Tiger Army and with Twin Temple for 6 weeks. That would have been awesome. I hope we can still do it. But so that happened, and a lot of things got canceled. But we live in upstate New York, so we and
you had the upstate New York. You sent me the photo of that special hand sanitizer, right?
Oh yeah. We have the New York State hand sanitizer made by prisoners, and it is serious stuff, man. It's hardcore.
Really cleans.
Yeah, I think it actually vaccinates you too, but don't quote me on that. But I was at a bar the other day as things were opening up, and it was the brewery that we used to live on the property of, and the owner just passed away a
Oh.
couple of months ago, or about a month ago, but not COVID related, oddly enough. But yeah, so we were at his memorial, and there were some people there. There were definitely people that were, anti-Governor Cuomo, and they're like, I just overheard their conversation next to the hand sanitizers. They're like, "Don't use that. That'll probably give you the stuff." And it's just like, oh god. But yeah, that's funny.
Wow. And a crazy thing is that we were supposed to go on tour kind of right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was like a few days or 5 days or something.
Oh yeah, I know. And we were supposed to, because we were leaving New York and then meeting up with you guys out west. So I mean, we had like 4 or 5 connecting dates that we just had to. We were like, are we gonna do these? Are they gonna happen? And we just went out on a limb and like canceled those because we knew everything was just gonna get canceled. And then once I found out that South by Southwest was over, it wasn't happening. It was just like, that was the big thing.
That was clear at that point what's going to happen. It was not clear that it would be happening for over a year though.
Yeah.
But so how are things in New York State now? Are things kind of open or starting? Or
yeah, they're starting to. I mean, like you can go into stores if you're vaccinated. You can go into stores with no mask on, and it feels weird. But some stores still have you do it, and that's fine. And whatever makes people comfortable, cool. But yeah, events have begun, and now that it's starting to get really warm here, we did a lot of outdoor stuff last year. We played a lot of like Lara and I started playing. We've always played as a duo, as like a supplemental thing to what we do. So, but yeah, once our guitar player started getting comfortable to come out, our lead guitarist from Lara Hope the Arctones, then we started playing as a trio more, and that's been kind of fun. Because Lara and I always played as a duo, but it was lacking a lead instrument sometimes, so we would play kazoo to fill in for that. But yeah, it was nice to add our guitar player back in, and just for complications of sound for like the live streaming. We started live streaming as soon as the pandemic started. We were like, let's do Mondays, because everybody was like, oh, it's Friday night, everybody's staying home. I'm gonna do live streams every Friday, and it started to get the airwaves, so to speak, started to get a little bit crowded on weeknights, on weekends. So we picked Monday nights, and it ended up working out really well. And, we still have a pretty good community of people who watch. We even gave them a name. We called them the Monday Nights, like with a K. And, but yeah, like people talk to each other in the chat and stuff. It's fun. But playing as a trio has been interesting for me because I get to, really hold down the rhythm a lot more and really like think about the way that those guys in the old trios way back when, before rockabilly bands really had a lot of drummers, it's like how that.
So it's a trio without drums, right?
Yeah. And we still have our drummer, and we're doing an album release show June 26th, and he's going to be playing with us then. And we're actually going to get, because we had a lot of guest musicians on the album, so we're actually going to have like all of the sounds that we had on the album done live. Like we're going to have a sax player, we're going to have a piano player, we're going to have Eddie's sister played some fiddle tracks on there. So we're actually going to have like all of that stuff live. So yeah, that's really exciting.
So it's been kind of busy. You stayed busy during the pandemic.
Yeah,
with the live streams. And just remind the audience, it's every Monday,
Monday night,
Eastern?
7 Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's your YouTube and Facebook?
Yep.
Okay. So make sure to subscribe to Lara Hope. Is it Lara Hope or?
Yeah, it's on the Lara Hope and the Arctones page.
Okay, cool.
And I think our YouTube profile is Lara Hope Music. But
okay, all right. So it should be easy to find. All right, so let's start with the history of Matt. I would like to know the beginnings. How did you decide to be a musician? How did you decide to pick the bass? How did you decide to pick slap bass and start doing that?
Oh man, well, I didn't get into music really early in life. I remember I wanted to play drums when I was a kid, And that didn't happen. And then they were passing out stringed instruments in elementary school, and I played around a little bit with like a viola. That didn't really do it for me, and I was always like, they gave them to you based on size back then, right? So yeah, I wasn't big enough to play the bass, but I really I was fascinated by it. But then fast forward a long time, didn't do anything. But then in my teenage years, I was like, I loved going to shows, and I loved, and I was always friends with people in bands, and I wanted to be part of the music scene that way. And I started doing art and photography and kind of like, even some music journalism a little bit, but just following bands around. I always wanted to do like album art. And I was like, I grew up in like the punk and metal sort of scene, but even like upstate New York, it was just like, there was a lot of different music going on in the, in the 90s, mid 90s, late 90s. And, so anyway, I didn't start playing music until I was in college, and in 2002, and I started playing bass guitar, but I was like really fascinated by like Les Claypool when I was like a teenager. So got into that, but I could never play bass guitar like that. And I'm actually not a very good bass guitar player, but once I started playing upright, it spoke to me a lot more. I was able to like borrow one from a friend from in like 2003, and then he wanted it back. So then I was like, I got to get me one of those. And then I ended up getting a used one, like a total beater, like, Chinese bass, and just learning how to do it. And, I kind of like, I'm self-taught, and I just kind of learned by doing and listening and whatever. Even on bass guitar, it was just that, but I was always only playing like, like punk, and, I was in like this like surf punk garage sort of band in college called the New York Rex. And and so anyway, then I got an upright bass, and then started playing with a guy playing these like, this guy, it was like a joke band. It was a total joke band. And it was in New York City. It was like people that were in the like hardcore scene, but this guy played these like filthy country songs that were just all a joke. So I started playing with him, and that was the first band I ever played upright bass in. And then I was friends with Bobcat from the Arkhams later on. So early on, he had a band called the Devil Spades, and they were a psychobilly band, and I got really fascinated with psychobilly. And I'd been a fan of the Reverend Horton Heat for a long time, but I don't know. So anyway, I started playing with this guy. Sorry, yeah. I'm rambling now, aren't I? Yeah.
No. So I just want to make sure. So the first instrument was bass guitar, and then you switched to upright bass, and pretty much rockabilly. The reason why you started playing upright.
Yeah, and rockabilly and psychobilly, and then so then I started playing with Bobcat. First we played in a band called Seth Kessel and the Black Market Band, and that was
Seth Kessel. Is that a guy that played with Easy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he's just putting out a solo record right now, just under Seth Kessel, and he's got some new singles out. But I didn't play on any of those, but it's still great. And so we had this band that was kind of like country, like almost like country meets psychobilly, sort of, in a way,
like a punk type of thing.
Yeah, but yeah. So then after that's when I met Bobcat, and I've been playing with Bobcat from like 2004 on, and our band is the Arkhams, that we started like back in like 05, 06, and that was because like Seth Kessel, like he was getting busier. He started working in a studio, so he was working like 80 hours a week, and he didn't have a lot of time for us. So we got together with this drummer that we were just friends with Shanzi, so we got together with him, and then at first we were just messing around trying to write some stuff, and then we backed up this woman from Denmark that moved to the city. Her name was like Lady Anne, and so we were just like her backup band for a little while, doing like rockabilly covers, like kind of rockabilly and rhythm and blues covers. It was like Ruth Brown and like Janice Martin and Wanda Jackson stuff. So then we did that for a little while. Then we started our own. Then we started the Arkhams as a trio, and Bobcat was doing most of the singing then. And then as I slowly learned how to sing and play. I'm like really slow at that. Like I have to play a song like, I don't know, triple digits before I can start singing on it. But I've gotten better over the years. But so anyway, then I started singing a little more for the Arkhams. And then, it's probably about like 70-30 now with I sing most, but yeah, Bobcat.
But you sing pretty good backup vocals with Lara. Yeah. Like I noticed that like on your streams.
Yeah, and I mean like the singing is just singing and playing is just it takes a while to get into. It
takes really a while.
Hard. It's really hard.
It's kind of almost two different melody lines that you have to be focused on.
Yeah, and I have to get to the point where I'm not thinking about playing. Because like I'm a really like with playing in general, like there's this like zone that I'm sure you know about that. Yeah, like once you get into the zone and you're really not even thinking about it anymore, and you're just kind of feeling it, and like you don't have to like go like think about the beat or what you're gonna play, and it's just kind of flowing. And I feel like that sometimes that music is like a force that we kind of tap into, and
it's magic.
Yeah, it really is. So especially like being somebody who learned by ear, and then I'm like, back learning now.
So you never had a formal education?
No.
No lessons. But how did you learn? Like any instructional videos, books, or something?
I did watch the Lee Rocker video once.
Uh-huh.
I remember I had the VHS tape. The old Lee Rocker video with the mullet.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Oh yeah. I watched that like once and played along with it, but mostly I just like learned by playing with people that were really good. And I don't know why they were keeping me around, but they did. And like playing with Bobcat and Seth, I just learned a ton. And really like even if I were to give a lesson at this point, it would be through like learning a song. And then like kind of pointing out something in that song that's worth learning, because I'm like, with almost everything that I've done, I've always been like a very like experiential sort of learner. It's like I can read about stuff, sure, and understand it and then comprehend it, but then like, yeah, it's like I really have to like learn by doing. And so yeah, but
and do you play any other instruments besides bass, guitar, and upright bass?
I play a little bit of banjo. And Lara just got me a tenor guitar for my birthday. So
I'm cool.
Mess around with that. That's a nice little four-string guitar. And yeah, that's about it though.
Do you write music?
I do.
So you don't need like an instrument with like a piano or a guitar or something,
right?
You write on bass?
Yeah, I write stuff on bass. And like what I've done a lot of over the years is like collaborating, sort of like collaborative writing, where like I'll come up with like a riff or something, and then I'll pass it on to Bobcat, and or at least that's how we kind of like work together. Like we're always kind of like really collaborating on stuff, like passing stuff back and forth. Or he'll come in with like almost a complete song, and he'll have like an idea, and then I'll just add things to it. But I've always just kind of like like come up with parts. I'm trying to do more of it, and as I'm learning how to like Lara and I kind of taught ourselves a little bit, and we made a pandemic themed album while we were stuck home together, because it's nice. Lara and I are married, so it's convenient that we got to be locked down together, and that we get to share a life playing music together. And so yeah, we've been learning how to record. So So now that opens doors for maybe, composing more. And
Do you have that album handy so you can show it to us?
I sure do. Yeah, this was the because when it's just Lara and I, it's the Gold Hope duo. And this was the Songs in the Key of Quarantine that we recorded right here and partially in this living room and in our studio in our garage. And there we are with masks on and everything. With the little yeah, and that's the Gold Hope duo is that stuff is all like you can find that just by going to the Lara Hope website. And yeah, so we have so where were we? Oh yeah.
So, one thing that I want to know, I want to get back to slap bass. Most of our people that are watching this are bass players or your fans, and they are a lot of fans. What I'm interested in is how did you get interested in upright slap bass, and when?
Yeah. Well, when I first moved to New York City, because I'm from upstate New York.
Okay.
I went to art school in like Westchester, and then I moved down to the city after that. So I lived in New York City for like 10 years. And when I first moved down there, I found some friends there. I met the guys from the Memphis Morticians, and those guys were fun. And they were, I met Pete, the bass player from them, just from meeting him at a bar. And so he had made his upright bass, and he made a few of them. At this point, he's made like 3 of them. So I was always fascinated just by that. And so I saw their bands, and then I started going to the shows. New York City had a pretty decent rockabilly and psychobilly scene. Like they had a pretty decent psychobilly scene for quite a while in the early 2000s, like to maybe 2010 or so, maybe 11. And so yeah, just going to shows, watching people, being really interested, being really just like fascinated in how people are doing it. I mean, like I remember, when I like I grew up listening to a lot of like punk and metal stuff, but I remember getting into the Reverend Hoyt Heat for the first time and like listening to those albums and being like just not even knowing like what the slap bass sound was at first. I was confused. I didn't know if that was like part of the double bass drums or what with that. And then, finally I started to learn like what that was and what that technique was. And, started listening to a lot more roots music probably in the, 2000s and getting into.
Do you remember who was the first guy that you saw play live?
First guy that I saw play live. Oh man, do I remember? Well, I remember I would go to a lot of shows at the Rodeo Bar in New York City.
Oh, I remember that place. I played there a bunch with Deke.
Oh yeah, that place was great, and they had a lot of great bands came through there. And I remember seeing this band King Memphis from Maine. I remember being like fascinated by them, and they were just like this cool just rockabilly band, but. I remember watching, being real close in that room. That room was pretty small, and you could really see what everybody was doing. So every band that I got
was really cool.
Was I got to I would watch them and then so yeah.
I remember playing a Rodeo Bar on my first U.S. tour in 2005 maybe or 6, something like that, and it was with Deke Dickerson and. It was great, and I loved it. It was so cool.
I missed you guys all those times,
Yeah, I played there quite a bit with him. So, I mean, I think that I played Rodeo Bar only with him. So, but it's been Rodeo Bar has been closed for a while now, right?
Yeah, quite a few years.
Yeah. So it got to be at least 5, 6, 7 years since I played there.
Yeah, I mean, I moved out of the city about 10 years ago. And I mean, there have been clubs that have like opened and closed since then. And, but when Rodeo Bar closed, I was really bummed.
That's kind of a big deal on the scene.
And like once I started playing, like, you know, years later, I finally got to like play there a few times, and I was super excited. And I remember one time Lara and I played there, and we slept in our van in front of the place.
New York City, huh?
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about slap bass and your slap bass, and I would like to hear you play.
All
and I
right.
see two basses behind you. So which one you gonna play?
Oh, whichever one you want. We can for just for a second. I'll talk about this one over here, Jareen. That's my bass that I designed and helped build, and that's this is, well, here I'll show and tell. And here she is. It's basically a half-size bass, and what it is, although, you know, you might look at it and be like, that's a coffin bass. It's not. I didn't knock off that. What I did knock off was the Nilling Porta bass, which was a weird bass that like the Carl Nilling company made for a little while, I guess in the 60s or something. And if you can find one, buy it, give it to me. But I could never find one. So I was like, that's cool. I want to make one of those. And then I found this friend of mine who builds guitars. We like reconnected after years on Facebook. And then he was like, I'm building guitars now. If you ever want to build anything, I was like, I might have an idea for an upright bass. And the shape basically was about the same as that Nilling Porta bass. And I thought it would be easy to build with these corners, but it turned out to be a big pain in the butt. But yeah, it was like a back burner thing for both of us. And 3 years later, I had a bass, and it's been working so far so good for the last what, like 4 or 5 years now. It's been out doing a lot of heavy touring. So yeah, I don't know. And yeah, it's got about the same sound as like a half size does. And these are I'm using the Presto Jazzicato strings. And I guess what I'll play is I'll just demonstrate a little bit of some kind of like multi-rhythmic sort of slapping that I've been doing. I've been experimenting with doing like hammer-ons on the left hand in addition to slaps with the right hand. And we recorded a weird version of well, not that weird. We recorded a version of Hound Dog, not the Elvis version, you know, the Big Mama Thornton version, more or less. And we gave it this good kind of like almost like this really heavy swing, almost like parade kind of like feel to it. But I'll stop talking about it and I'll just start playing. So, yeah, I don't know. You can only be so entertained by...
I'm digging the riff. It's a pretty cool riff.
But, yeah.
So I would like you to, I mean, I don't have my bass with me, and I would like to learn it. Do you mind, like, explaining it a little bit?
I could, yeah, I'll do my best. Because, so yeah, like, what I was doing was... and I've also been, like, in the last couple of, like, the last bunch of years, been trying to really, like, play around more with being able to like bend notes on the, you know, take advantage of the fretless aspect of the bass, because I really do love that, you know. And sometimes people are like, oh, it must be so hard to... Oh, actually, it's a lot easier, but because I have this much room for error. So yeah, I've been doing like So the basic part of the beginning of that would be like there's doing like a hammer on the left hand at the beginning, even so like so. So yeah, I'm throwing in like a little triplet just right before the right on the like swing back, right where. So yeah, it's just like hammer-ons on the left hand. I've been trying to play around with those a lot more and incorporate those into stuff where, because you can turn triplets into quadruplets that way. Yeah. So, Djordje, are you there?
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
yeah.
I'm paying attention. Is it weird like to talk when I'm not on the screen?
Oh yeah. Even after like a year of live streaming, I'm like still not used to like talking to a screen that's like just like blank, you know. Like how long am I going on for? I don't know.
See how I feel every Saturday.
Yeah.
What we do for the art of slap bass.
Right.
Everything. It's a pretty cool riff. I'm really digging it. I have to try it as soon as I get back to home. As soon as I get back to Slapsville. So I know you played with. You can sit down if you want. I know you played with quite a few artists over the year, and people mostly know you from the Arkhams or Lara Hope's band.
Yeah.
Do you mind like mentioning some other artists that you played with over time?
Yeah, totally. Like I've done some filling in work with a few people. Like I still play sometimes with Jesse Ray Carter from Virginia. He's like a blues rock guitar guy. I used to sit in with Husky Burnett a lot, but then he started dating a woman that plays bass a couple of years ago. So he's all set now. But and they're awesome. But yeah, it was fun playing with that guy. I played on two songs on the second John Spencer Heavy Trash record. And with that, it's like he's got 3 bass players on that. One of them is the other ones are Simon Chartier, who's like this amazing musician from New York City, who's like Bobcat's guitar teacher, and he's like this amazing dude. He's like 70, he like surfs every day, plays guitar every day. He lives down in Rockaway. But anyway, and then the other bass player on those records was Kim Kicks from Godless Wicked Creeps. But so yeah, either way, but Bobcat had been driving around the guys from Heavy Trash for a while, and then he talked me up, and I was able to play on that 2 songs on that record, and it was real cool. Except I was like, I was expecting to be playing more like fast, like a Billy kind of stuff, and one of the songs that I'm on is almost like this like really kind of slow. It's almost got like a gospel-y feel to it, but that was a cool experience. They recorded all analog too, so that was like just playing to tape stuff. And John Spencer wasn't even in the studio with me. I was working mostly with just Matt Verderay, the lead guitar player for that band. And then last year I put out a song, or I played bass on a song on the most recent Turbo AC's record. Because Kevin Cole and we have a kind of a joke band called Let's Get Sushi and Not Pay, and so yeah, we occasionally have done stuff like that. But he had this kind of rootsy song that we did on the most recent Turbo AC's record. Let's see. Yeah, I've done some filling in for people in the past. But most recently also I started playing for a band locally called Pitchfork Militia, who've been around for 30 years and almost, and I've been seeing them since I was like 17 years old. So I started filling in on bass guitar for them while their bassist has some stuff going on, and I don't know if he's gonna continue or not, but I was like, the place is always open for you, because I learned a lot just watching him over the years.
But that's so cool. I didn't know you played with John Spencer. And
I didn't play any live gigs at all. I just played on 2 songs
that
on
record.
Record.
Yeah, that's cool.
On the
I went to see them a couple of times, or once, like when they played the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
But you were not there.
No. It was
Any chance you can do something, more gigs or more records with them?
I don't know, man.
Are they still around?
I saw them play like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. They had done a show up in Hudson, and Bloodshot Bill was touring with them, and they had Bloodshot Bill open, and then he was playing bass for them.
Oh, okay.
So that's so yeah, I don't know, but I actually heard that John Spencer moved to somewhere near where I live in Kingston, New York. I wonder. Who knows?
Now's the time.
Yeah.
Do you have like a favorite artist you played with?
Oh man. Let's see. I had to make notes. I got to fill in a couple times for Sasquatch and the Sickabillies. They were a band from Rhode Island, from Providence, and actually, like, come to think of it, like watching them play years ago was their first bass player, Johnny Custom, was like watching him play was a huge influence. That dude just had a ton of style for days. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I played a couple shows with him. That was fun. Let's see. Once I backed up.
Is your approach like to play live and in studio different?
It feels a little different sometimes, because like I feel like sometimes in the studio you got to dial it back, like stuff that works live or that you think works live. Sometimes when you try to bring it into the studio, you realize like, no, it was just kind of maybe overplaying. But because sometimes it works to really like shine just a little bit in a song where you might want to hang back for a while and not. Because sometimes playing live, sometimes you can't hear yourself, so sometimes you're just playing like a little more tense and louder because of that or something, and it gets repetitive and annoying playing in a studio. But yeah, like I would love to pick up session work. Like,
do you read music?
No, I can read like chord charts and stuff, and I'm like sort of like trying to learn bit by bit, but yeah. Yeah, that's something I gotta do.
I stopped you like for a second. You wanted to mention somebody else that you played with. I think so. It looked like that.
I'm just looking at my notes here. I've played with a bunch of people, as it turns out. Oh yeah, once I got to back up with Bobcat and Seth and like the Black Market Band. We got to back up the Slanderin from California, that psychobilly band from California. He was on a tour, and he had a few dates booked, and he had just like some members of his band left or something. So we filled in for him. We got to open for Rancid, and that was like the biggest show I had ever played at that point. It was like a sold out show at BB King's, and I was learning. I had learned all these like really fast, like it was almost like like metal speed stuff, and I wasn't used to playing stuff that fast at that point, or I thought I had played fast up until that point, and then like I just like learned so much in a hurry, or at least like just had to, and that was like a fun thing. But yeah, I don't know, I love playing with Jesse Ray Carter. He's fun to play with, and yeah, like like playing some of the blues rock stuff.
I thought that Lara was your favorite artist to play with.
Like with the people that I filled in for. I mean, of course, playing with Lara is the best. Playing with your partner is great. And yeah,
is she around? Like,
she's gonna join us. She'll join us for a song soon.
Yes, that's what I was about to ask.
Man, now you made me feel bad.
Is she around? Like, are you gonna play a song with her?
She's home. Yeah. Let's play a song. You ready to play a song?
Just left. That was good timing.
All right.
What do you want to do? Want to do the city scared?
Yeah, we'll do a new one that we wrote as a duo. This is like a really recent song.
Hello, Lara.
Hi, Djordje. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Here in the lobby in Houston.
I'm happy that you're doing this with my hub.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having me.
I'm happy to do that too. All right.
There you are. There's your face.
So there I am. But I'll let you to be the. This looks better.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What you gonna play?
Yeah. This is a pretty new song, and it was written kind of in light of a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff that represented 2020, like a lot about income inequality and racial inequality and the pandemic and the housing crisis we're having. So not exactly a love song, but one that's a song for the times.
All right. Let's hear it.
It's called The City Scared. Unlike my normal, like, super happy, go lucky, everything song. I don't know. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All the sidewalks in the city, all the pavement cracked and oh, no construction, what a pity, never gets stuck in the cold. Street lights blinking, potholes sinking, needles laying around, and all the politicians making promises, but they don't come around. The Broadway lights are dim tonight. The Broadway lights are dim.
All right. It's awesome. I love it. Is it the song like from the album from
The Quarantine
Songs
album?
and Keys of Quarantine?
No, it's not on any album.
Yeah.
It's only a few months old, so not
Oh,
really.
really? Okay, so it's gonna be on the new one.
I don't know.
The next one.
Next
Maybe
project.
maybe we'll record it as a single in a few months and just put it out on its own. I'm thinking.
That would be cool. Do you mind like doing another song? I love hearing you sing.
Yeah,
Totally.
totally. Yeah,
You want to do something with a bass solo?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
let's do that big
Yeah.
Sandy one.
Yes, please. Always bass solos.
Yeah.
We'll do a cover song by someone we both know in real life, Mr. Big Sandy and his Fire Right Boys.
Alrighty.
It's a song.
Because like limited, when we're limited to doing songs as a duo, we gotta figure out what to do when crazy guitar solos happen.
Just add crazy bass solos.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All right.
we added bass solos to like Buck Owens songs. What else?
Exactly.
I love
Yeah.
just sitting back and like get a drink, let Matt play along bass solo,
Yeah.
work the crowd, take a pee, whatever. You just keep soloing.
All right. Let's hear it.
All right, cool. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You've heard of great love stories of romance from days gone by. We can tell them all, babe, with the tale of you and I. We'll make a great duet, like Scarlet when we were red. I'll Romeo, you if you'll be my Juliet. Oh, tell me that you love me. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Tell me, you're mine, I have it home. And darling, if you do, I swear to you, I'll be the greatest story ever told. Robin Hood made Mary Ann, and Tarzan swung with Jane. Even Superman, he made his plans with Lois Lane. And dear, if you decide, I'll be your little bride. I'll be your Bonnie, babe, you'll be my loving Clyde. Oh, tell me that you love me. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Tell me, you're mine, I have it home. And darling, if you do, I swear to you, I will be the greatest story ever told. Mark Anthony and Cleopatra sure had loads of passion. Baby, next to eyes, their love seems so out of fashion. Tell me that you love me. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Tell me, you're mine, I have it home. And darling, if you do, oh, I swear to you, I'll be the greatest story ever told. Oh, that's right, I'll be the greatest story ever told. Let them know I'll be the greatest story ever told.
All right. Thanks, dog.
Thank you, Djordje. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Lara. Thank you. Of course.
Nice to see you.
Awesome.
I hope to see you in real life sometime soon.
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope we're gonna get a chance to do that tour that we were talking about.
Yeah, I know.
We're playing. That'll be a fun one.
Right?
That would be
Supposed to be a
great.
fun one.
Yeah, with us and Twin Temple, that would have been cool.
Would have been cool. Oh, my fingers are crossed.
Yeah.
I'll keep.
All right. Well, things are opening up, so
Yeah.
hopefully it seems there's a light at the end of a tunnel, so
Oh yeah.
well, we're gonna do it one of these days.
Yeah.
We're ready. We're ready when you
Yeah,
are.
we're ready when you are.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna get out of
Thanks
here.
for singing for us. Thanks for singing for the Slapstream in Slapsville.
Hey.
So happy to do it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Matt. So one thing that I love asking all guests of mine are about different slap patterns. Don't leave your bass yet. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Different slap patterns that you're using and the terminology that you're using. Because I know there's lots of confusion between like single slap, double slap. And I'm trying to make it all kind of make sense and to make it more unified. But I'm curious to hear what is the terminology that you're using and what are the slap patterns, if you can demonstrate all the slap patterns that you use and the name that you use for all of them.
Okay, yeah. That's probably helpful too, because some people might have different names for things. Like, even like I've been a barber before, and sometimes people like have different names for different things for for the same things. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, like you have here, you have like a single slap, like, but you kind of get that, and then you have what and you have like doubles. And then triplets is easy because then you get to say the word. The word, it's got the same amount of syllables. Triplet, 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 triplet. And then I'll do like either like roll triplets or drag triplets. So the drag triplets are like, they're either like that, where you're getting kind of like that raking motion. You're getting like 1, 2, 3. The third one comes there. Or sometimes I accidentally end up doing like 4 like that. I'm trying to do that, learn to do that on purpose. And then I'll do like, I do that roll, the roll triplets too, like. And then hammer-ons are like not just even beyond, like there's hammering onto a note, which is like that, but you can kind of get the extra slap in there with your left hand. Like sometimes dudes will do it, like for showmanship, will end up doing like that. They'll do like that, but you can get the same effect by just going like. And that's like not even fingering a note. So yeah, what else do I do? And then obviously there's your pizzicato playing right here. And I end up doing it kind of like that bluegrass style, where you kind of like grip your thumb onto the fingerboard for support. And then when I'm playing pizzicato, I remember I was busking in New York City one day. And I was playing this bass actually, and this some guy who I guess he must have been a bass player. He was like, I couldn't really hear you that well. He's like, you got to play a little more with the whole meat of your finger. And he was like, because I had just been playing with like my fingertips doing pizzicato stuff, and it was like, no, you can just grab the whole string like that. So that was I did a lot. I used to do a lot of busking when I lived in New York City. Playing on the subway, and I played with an accordion player friend a lot, Matt Dallow. He now plays with played with World Inferno Friendship Society, who Jack, I know the singer Jack Cherrycloth just passed away, so wait a second for him. But anyway, so that's about the extent of my knowledge. That's everything I know.
That's cool. And I want to kind of collect all those different approaches and different names, because I noticed that different people have different names for same slap patterns. And then there's always that talk, are you going to count just the slap of the string or just the slap of your fingers or both? I personally do both, but it's cool. I like to hear and see different approaches and then figuring out what led to that.
Yeah.
But hopefully one day we're going to have all of that unified, so there's no confusion about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, you're documenting it all and putting it all in one place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Documenting even more than. It's not more than I should, but it's definitely everything,
Yeah.
Imagine like one day, like a kid that gets into slap bass can like watch just 50 or 100 episodes of the slap bass live stream, and then kind of so here's everything ever
right
ever play like so.
I mean, you used to have to just chew people's ears off or go on rockabillybase.com.
Oh yeah, that was.
Oh yeah, remember those message board days? Your Atomic Boogie video got passed around like every single week.
I was never on that forum, but yeah, I guess I met lots of people from the forum. I actually wanted to do Art of Slap Bass as part of rockabillybase.com, but they were kind of like a slow, with response. I was like, I'm just gonna do my own thing, and I'm happy that I did it.
I haven't even logged on to that site in probably 10 years or something, but
yeah, I mean, forums are kind of dead. I mean, I had like a pretty happening forum at on the Art of Slap Bass, and then I think that people are just not doing forums anymore that much.
I still go on TalkBase to get used strings though.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. The classifieds on there is still happening.
Still happening.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Because I mean, it's like, how else do you try all these strings that are out there? It's like you got to try used ones. So yeah, I've definitely done a lot of.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What would you say was the highlight of your career so far?
Oh man, well, getting to open for the Brian Setzer Orchestra for their Christmas tour in 2018 was probably that's probably got to be at least one of the major ones, man. I mean, like, I knew who the Stray Cats were since I was a kid. Like my mom had a Built for Speed cassette that I listened to when I was like 5, and I had no idea what it was or how it related to everything, but it was just funny. It's like, that's the first way I even heard like Summertime Blues or something, before I knew it was an Eddie Cochran song. But anyway, so yeah, years later, being able to like open for the Setzer Orchestra, that was like mind blowing. And then being able to do that and get to play the Ryman Hall down in Nashville, that was, something else, man.
I cannot even imagine. Sorry, I have like a few things to press at the same time. That's so cool, and I see you play with the Setzer Orchestra in Los Angeles, and it was a great show. It was really, really fun one.
Yeah, that was the last night of the tour.
Oh, was it? It was the last night of the tour. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was like, they had like the rap. The like Christmas party afterwards and everything, and
I mean, that party was cool. I remember the. I mean, if you're talking about the backstage.
Yeah. Well, they had that party downstairs afterwards. It was like a Christmas party. You, me, and Tomas posed for a photo.
Yes.
We posed for
I remember that.
A Christmas wallet photo. Yeah, Tomas was probably like when I saw him play for the first time, I was like. I remember seeing him play in like 2005 with the Kings of Nothing. And
cool. That was an excellent band.
He blew me away. And like that year they had played down at this festival in North Carolina called the Heavy Rebel Weekender. And and we've been doing a lot of stuff with that festival over the years, but I first went there in 2005 and I was photographing stuff, and I photographed their set, and I like took this photo of Tor breathing fire that ended up in one of their records, which was really, really cool. And because I gave them like a disc of the photos, like I mailed them a disc of photos. I didn't even know they used it until the album came out, and I saw it and I saw my name. I was like, whoa, that's so cool. And then we've been good friends with one of their sax players, Hayden Cummings, and he's played on all of the Lara Hope and the Arctones records, and he's played on one of the Arkhams records too. And he's going to be playing with us on the 26th for our album release show for the Lara Hope and the Arctones.
Where is that show?
It's at the Colony in Woodstock. It's in Woodstock, New York, here by us. I don't know. Maybe we'll stream some of it, or we're going to stream. Yeah, we'll be streaming some of that show too probably from the Lara Hope and the Arctones Facebook page.
So in order for people to find out about all these events, they should go to your
LaraHope.net, the website.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Or your social medias, right?
Right. Yeah.
You got Instagram and Facebook over there. So for both bands.
Yeah. Well, the Arkhams just has a Facebook page, and even our website is just a link to our Bandcamp page. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
but the Arkham's been going on like for longer periods of time, right?
Yeah, that's where the Arctones comes from. It was because originally when we started Lara Hope and the Arctones, it was Lara had a band called Lara Hope and the Champtones, and she had like a summer's worth of gigs booked that her band, for various reasons, or like her band wasn't able to do like full summer's worth of gigs, so the Arkhams backed her up. We were her backup band for a while, and then it just kind of became its own thing, and like whenever I do an Arkham's gig, it's just it's the other guys from the Arctones,
So it's the same band. You just add Lara.
Yeah, basically add or remove Bobcat and Lara, and yeah, now it's the same band basically.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, the Arkhams is always me and Bobcat and whoever else we have, because like we were a trio for a while. Then we had a rhythm guitar player for a few years, and he passed away it's been maybe has it been 3.5? About 3.5 years. So yeah. So now it's just basically like me and Bobcat and whoever else we bring along. But we're still making music in the studio, and we do live stuff occasionally. We're gonna be playing at Viva East this year because there's like an East Coast Viva Las Vegas now in Massachusetts. And so it's a lot smaller. It's not on as grand of a scale, but we're doing well. Lara Hope and the Arctones are doing the actual Viva Las Vegas.
Okay.
This year as well, and
you have like a couple albums. You have an album that you're about to release with Lara, right?
Yes, yeah. Here to Tell the Tale. It's our third album.
That's this one, right?
It is. And here is Here to Tell the Tale. It is here. Here to tell the tale. Here to tell the tale. That's what I'm here to do.
And that's gonna be like third, fourth album.
That's our third one.
Third, okay.
As Lara Hope and the Arctones, and we.
So you're not counting the duo album as.
Yeah, the duo stuff is separate. We made a live album. We made but yeah, Lara Hope and the Arctones, third album. Love you. Here to Tell the Tale, and it's all originals. There's no cover songs on it.
Cool.
Normally we'll throw like one or two onto an album, but yeah, this time we just really wanted to stress the fact that we were just writing and recording original songs. And we kind of get lumped in with rockabilly bands a lot, but we're trying to bring it to a lot more places. Like we kind of call it like vintage rock and roll, or like there's the whole like Ameripolitan thing. If you know about that, that's like sure. Dale Watson's like awards show thing.
Of course.
And he's kind of like said that a lot of the kind of like modern roots type of music, he kind of like lumps it all into one category, like combining like honky tonk, western swing, rockabilly, outlaw country, like that kind of stuff. But people that are doing it, in the way that it was kind of intended, and the way that it was, kind of separate, like distancing itself from like modern pop country and stuff basically. But so Lara won the best female artist for in the rockabilly category for Ameripolitan in, what was that, 17? Yeah, that was 17. So yeah, sometimes I'll even say that yeah, like the kind of music we play is Ameripolitan music, but yeah, then you have to explain that. But like we have, there's a song on there. There's like a couple of songs on there that are more like country. There's, one song that's almost like a psychobilly song, which we're going to have a music video for very soon called Let's Go. We've made a bunch of really fun music videos for this band over the years. They're all on YouTube. And we have like this most recent one. It's got like a fun little storyline where we're like, chasing people around. I won't give too much of it away, but okay, I'll give it away. Fine. But yeah, it like starts out, we like wake up after like a night of like a party or something, and then we find that our instruments are stolen, and then we have to go get back our instruments from, wherever they went and whoever stole them, and in various ways. And then
Which song is that?
it's for the song "Let's Go."
Uh-huh.
And that's kind of like the almost like psychobilly song, and that's the first song on the album. And yeah, it's fun. So that'll be a fun music video, chasing and action and things, you know. What'd you say?
So we're just like the beast.
All right.
She reminded you?
Yeah.
All right, so that all comes like on June 26th, you said?
June 25th, the album comes out.
25th, okay.
Yeah, so, and we already have a couple of singles out from it that you can find on anywhere that you stream music. Our most recent single that was just released about what 1 or 2 Fridays ago, last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, here to tell the tale. And yeah, the whole album will be out on June 25th on all streaming services and so on. And
Vinyl?
we will have vinyl. It's just all the vinyl in the world is backed up right now. You know, it's like supply lines in general are just short. But yeah, I guess vinyl pressing is lagging behind. And we've been working with Crazy Love Records over in Germany. Mm-hmm. For a while. He put out our last one, the vinyl release. So he handles the vinyl release of that. So he's doing one for this album now too.
Nice.
But he also just did he put out a like a greatest hits kind of an album for the Arkhams. We did like a little anthology called Almost Hits.
That's this one, right?
There it is. Yeah. And that's like a compilation of stuff from the first 2 Arkhams albums, and a couple, like 1 or 2 unreleased songs from the 3rd album that we never released that we're gonna re-record a lot of, and then like 1 or 2 brand new ones, like one we put out in 2018 for let me see. And then we put out one in like 2017 for we put out a Motorhead cover for there was like a Psychobilly Motorhead tribute album that came out like right after Lemmy passed away.
Oh wow. Okay.
It was called I think it was called Born to Raise Hell. And it was just like a Spotify compilation or something that this guy from somewhere in Europe put out. But anyway, so yeah, we did a cover of that song "Them Not Me." It's like a really weird. It was on Today, I think was the Motorhead album that it was on. But anyway, so yeah, so that's on there. So there's just like a compilation of stuff from the first 2 albums plus some bonus and unreleased things. So yeah, we're happy that Crazy Love put out a little run of those. So those are available in Europe there, through Crazy Love, or in the US from our website, from www.thearkhams.com, which is just our Bandcamp page. But
well, lots of things are happening in Matt's world these days. Yeah. Do you have any idea how many albums you played on?
I had a list a while ago, but probably like, I don't know, maybe like 14 or 15 or so. Not on whole, not like whole albums, but yeah, like probably about 14 or 15.
See, you've been playing like kind of like for a long time, and I would be curious to hear from your perspective, like how things changed for you as a musician since the beginning until now. I'm talking more about music business and shows and people's approach to shows, the audience, and everything that surrounds our lives as musicians.
Well, I mean, one thing that I definitely miss was the music scene being the social network. I miss that a lot, and because I feel like a lot less people go out to things now because they find out all the stuff, all the gossip or whatever from Facebook, because they used to go to things and talk to each other, like you used to have to tell people about your lunch like in person, you know, like a week later or something. But yeah, and also, you know, people used to, you know, never mind that. I mean, people used to like go out to events to like, you know, meet people or whatever. And now there's just not as much of that. There's not as much just like chance happening things. Like people are really a lot more calculated in how they go out and enjoy themselves these days, I think. You know, and that's something I missed from a long time ago, but yeah, I don't know, we're learning to adapt. I love the fact that there's so much more that at your fingertips, on the other hand, that you can do now, like, you know, that we can just like broadcast a live stream every Monday from our living room, and it can get to, you know, people all over the world. Like that's pretty incredible, you know. Yeah, the fact that you know, people and yeah, I mean, like, I didn't always do music for a career though. It was always like I was always doing day jobs and stuff throughout, and you know, I have just been doing music mostly as a job for the last like 9 years, you know, until the pandemic. Now it's just a big reset of everything and trying to reshuffle and sort out and figure out how to do what. But yeah, otherwise.
At a whole music business, what do you think about a whole music business? Is it different to book shows now? Is the audience different now than, you know, 15, 20 years ago?
Well, it's just weird because, you know, there's always like ebbs and flows of what people like and whatever. And there's like also just everybody in my age group now, you know, I'm like, what, like 41. So, you know, all the people my age and like up to 10 years older, a lot of them have like settled down, had kids, you know, so a lot of those folks aren't going out as much anymore. Maybe they'll come back out again once their kids get old enough. But you know, I just feel like it's hard to really compare now to then just because of certain factors like that. But yeah, I don't know.
It's I feel that there were like lots of changes, some of them good and then lots of them bad, and then it seems that the attendance is affected by all these changes. But I strongly believe that people are gonna appreciate, always gonna appreciate live music, and that especially after this pandemic.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes like even like younger generations, like sometimes like music is part of another experience. You know, it's like it's definitely joined with the experience, and you know, but sometimes they're not going out specifically to. And I mean, yeah, it's like it might sound dumb of me to be like, oh, these kids, let me tell you what they're into, but no, I mean, I feel like as a whole, music has become like just joined with other experiences, you know, like it was funny. I remember, like, you know, my brother, I have a brother that's 13 years younger than me, and you know, I remember him finding out about certain music from like a video game, you know, and it was like I remember making him a compilation CD of some stuff, and I remember him being like, oh, I've heard of this band. I was like, where'd you hear of this band? And he's like, oh, from like the Tony Hawk game, you know. So I was like, wow, you know, that's cool. But that's just one sort of example of it. And actually, the Arkhams had 2 songs on a video game once called Wet. It was like a on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And it was this like weird like Kill Bill kind of storyline game. But anyway, that was there's like a bunch of psychobilly bands on that. That had a great soundtrack. I'm not much of a gamer, but yeah. But either way, that's like one way that people find out about music now that they didn't years ago.
So that's cool. That's positive.
Yeah. And
do you plan to go out touring again once things get back to normal?
Yeah, I mean, like, we'd love to just, you know, stick to just doing like the festivals that we want to do. And
so you don't want to like kind of do like full-time tours?
Not as much. I mean, we definitely love to go on tour with bigger bands like Tiger Army. Yeah, like if you guys ask to go on tour, we'll go. You know, we're ready to go. But yeah, and we've booked a bunch of festival dates for the next year or so. So far, no big tours planned, but yeah.
Yeah, like I think that this last year taught us something about planning.
Yeah.
Or like at least taught people that planners,
Right.
So I'm not much of a planner, so I'm getting affected by that.
Yeah.
Do you ever teach?
I've only given like 2 lessons ever.
Okay.
And yeah, it was just.
Have you enjoyed it?
Nobody ever came back. Because I even will say myself, I'm like, a lot of what I can teach you, I could teach you in like 1 lesson basically, and then you have to go home and do a lot of work yourself. Teach a lesson in terms of like, I would just ask somebody like, come up with a couple of songs you want to learn. And then, and if they're ridiculous and if it's like some kind of thing that I can't even play, well, then I would suggest something else. And then I'd be like, well, why don't we learn this song instead? And just like take like a blues song, just take an old blues song and like play around with that for sure. I mean, I remember Bobcat, my guitar player for the Arkhams, he's been like a fan of the Beatles ever since he was a kid. And he'll even say to you now, he's like, do you want to learn how to play bass? He's like, go play along with Live at the BBC. He's like, if you can learn every song on Live at the BBC, like you'll know how to play bass. I'm like, okay. But he's not wrong,
Have you learned all the songs from that album?
No. No, but I've given that advice to people. Sounds great.
Who would you say were the biggest influences on you as a bass player, as a slap bass player?
Well, like as I said before, going to that festival, Heavy Rebel Weekender, they do an event there that they've been doing for a long time that I've been hosting for the last like 8 years or something, but I didn't start it. And it's called the Upright Bass Slapdown. And what they do is they'll have like a backing band, like a guitar player and a drummer. And then, it was like a competition thing, but it was kind of like you'd get about like 4 or 5 upright players up there, sometimes more than that. And, get different people swapping in, playing along. The band would just play like, we're going to play like a shuffle something in A, and, then people would do their best to follow along with it. But I remember watching this before I was really, playing that much, and just like being just wowed by it, because there were people like, I remember I saw Tomas get up there for just like a second, just like wail on the bass for a second, just kill it. And, but there was but the guys who ran that when I went, they were, it was Johnny Custom, who he's a New England guy, and he plays in a bunch of bands up there. I think his current band is called Diablo Gato. And, but yeah, like him and this guy Chops, I don't know if you've had him on your show, and you should if you haven't. But Michael Chops LeConte, he's he lives up by, like, he lives a little north of here, but he plays with the Luster Kings, who they back up Wanda Jackson. So just like watching guys like that, because back when I first moved to New York City and was going out to stuff a lot, like he was playing bass for a lot of bands there. And, so yeah, like watching guys like that. And then, and those were people that I could actually just like, see like in person. And, but then, yeah, I mean, there's like, obviously like, like Willie Dixon for sure. He wrote like all the good blues songs and played on so many records. And, it's like, how many times have I rewritten one of his solos, basically, without even thinking about it, probably. And yeah, I mean, like the list goes on.
And as far as the guys that play nowadays?
Oh man, you have a lot. Oh yeah. Well, also, I remember seeing bands like the Amazing Crowns up here in the Northeast too. And Jack Hanlon you had on last week, and he actually did a lot of work on this bass. He this is in Upton, and he was there when he was there. He had like just started working like building the basses back then. That was in like 2007 or 8. But let's see now. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, watching your videos from years ago was pretty damn inspirational too.
Thanks. All the videos that I do, I'm trying like to influence people to start playing slap or to maybe inspire them to go in a direction they're not accustomed going. Do you have like any maybe like the most essential songs like for slap bass that you would that you can recommend for younger bass players?
Well, I mean, definitely like like digging into the Willie Dixon Big 3 trio stuff for sure. There's like the Big 3 stomp is like that one with all the cool. It's like the one that's like do. Yeah, it's like every song, isn't it? So yeah, that's an essential one. What do you got for like? I don't know. I'm weird. I'm like weird with yeah. If you ask me questions like this, I will literally spend like all day thinking about it. I'm not good at just firing off responses like that because I'm like, oh, I have to answer the perfect thing. I might be wrong. I might get it wrong.
Whatever pops in your mind, if you have something that kind of influenced you, that's kind of like what I was more interested to hear. As you mentioned, you played like in quite a few bands. Do you have any advice like for people that would like to get a gig, that would like to get into a touring band or to become studio musician? What would be your kind of like your one or two advices that you can tell them, hey, go into this direction? Or also if you can point out like some of your mistakes when you were starting out.
Well, I mean, I guess the advice is more or less just like, just playing music with people is, if you can, is the way to do it. And like if you can find people that are better than you, that are willing to play with you and like, let you learn along, like that's it. And yeah, just there's also like with upright bass, it's always like, people want to learn bass tricks and standing on it and stuff. And it's like, yeah, you can do that stuff, but you got to learn how to play it first. And, but yeah, like just learning to just play, to just, like playing along with recordings. That's always a helpful thing.
Do you stand on the bass?
I can. I don't so much anymore. I mean, this bass is like, you just can't do that at all. I don't know. I used to do that kind of stuff a lot more. Even with, I've had a back surgery like 5.5, 6 years ago. So I'm not as I don't drink nearly as much as I used to either. So I used to do much more crazy, stupid stuff. I used to love to, like go and climb on the bar and all that. But again, playing well first, and then that shit comes later.
Exactly. All of that is should be an icing on a cake.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you could recommend, like for other bass players to practice on a daily basis, preferably?
Yeah, practice on a daily basis, like you said.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Just practice.
Just practice. Right. But no. I mean, playing with a metronome, it sounds boring, but it's not. Like playing with a metronome is really like what you should do. Like there's the like this thing actually works, and once in a while I even play along with it. But everybody can get get an app on their phone, and yeah, like playing, like learning music that's like outside of your comfort zone is fun too. Like I listen, like it's weird, like I play a lot of roots music stuff, but I don't listen to a lot of roots music stuff. I mean, I have, and definitely have over the years, but I mean, I listen to a lot of like mostly what I listen to is like metal and Balkan music, but yeah, it's all there. Playing, like, just learning to play old blues songs will help you very much. I love all the old jump blues stuff, like that stuff is, it's just like perfect to me.
A little voodoo magic.
Yeah.
What do you like from the Balkan music?
Oh man, I love the brass bands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much stuff out there. Like I heard you talking with Mark about like Taraf the Hajdukes. Like that guy is a ridiculous upright bass player. But I love like the Boban Markovic, like Boban and all the like fanfare Chakarlia. I don't know how to say. I don't even know how to say some of these band names. Like
Fanfare Chokarlia.
Yeah, see, correct me. Thank you. Yeah, like that kind of stuff, and anything I can find like that. And yeah, like there's a festival in New York City called Golden Fest every year that I like missed almost every single year that I lived down in the city, that I always wanted to go to. Oh yeah, I used to play in like a gypsy punk sort of a band for a while too, which we later found out was not a, like, yeah, just that you shouldn't say that. It's like kind of appropriating things, but it's like Roma punk, I guess, doesn't sound as good. But everybody, people were always like just trying to follow in like Gogo Bordello's footsteps, and like they were allowed to say gypsy punk. So I don't know, but anyway, but
Yeah, there was kind of like a trend like for a while, especially I would say especially on the East Coast, and I played Golden Fest with my band Fish Tank Ensemble.
Oh yeah,
but that's got to be at least 10 years ago. It was in I think in a hotel or something. It was like some gorgeous building. It was really cool, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was a fun festival.
Yeah.
And last year I recorded some music with Eugene Hutz from Gogol Bordello.
Yeah.
Which is kind of the guy, I guess, that brought like the whole gypsy punk thing kind of like into more of a mainstream. I don't think that song has been released yet, but should be. Do you have like any way like that you warm up before the shows, or you just go at it?
Sometimes I just go at it, like sometimes we're just getting to stuff and it's like the old throw and go. Sometimes we just get to places and just have to set up and play. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do Tai Chi a lot. Sometimes I'll even do it before a show, but not not that much. Usually just in the morning or whatever. And yeah.
Do you do it every morning?
Almost.
Oh, cool.
Like about like four mornings a week usually.
Nice. Huh. Do you have any like a kind of like a preferable way for recording your for recording your bass, like mic placements or what kind of room and stuff like that?
I mean, like tried a few things over the years and always like just like the condenser mic like somewhere around here or something, or the I've used like tube mics before, and like sometimes like a more like treble-y kind of a mic like somewhere right around like if you can, if you have access to like a, if you're in a studio with a guy who can, a technician who can like is willing to be patient and set up multiple mics, that's a great way to do it. And usually like one around like here, and then like if you can get something kind of like aiming at the fingerboard to get the slap sound. And I used to try and do the direct line with it as well, but I've always found that was just kind of supplemental and didn't really help that much. I like the more acoustic tones that you can get. And recording it myself so far, I've just been messing around with just like the one. I'm like pointing at the mic that I'm talking into, like you can see it. Just the one condenser mic in the studio is what I've been getting by with, and it seems to be okay. But our last album on the Lara Hope the Arctones Here to Tell the Tale album, our engineer, he's a bass player, Scott Petito. He's like a jazz guy, but he plays both bass guitar and upright, so he like had a pretty good handle on how it was supposed to sound. And I feel like I've gotten some of the best tone yet on this record. I was really happy with it.
And you usually use the blonde bass in the studio?
I used both this last time. But the blonde bass doesn't usually leave the house. It's a really nice Upton, and when I first got it, I used to bring it on the road. I used to bring it all over. I used to let a lot of people play it. It's got some dents and dings in it and stuff. And
you said no more?
Yeah. I just try to keep it nice. And so I used both, and so I would have this one set up a little bit for like more like slapping with like a little more loose strings. Like I had a set of I had the D&G, I had the Golden Spirals, those guts with the nylon wrap. I had a set of those with just the D&G, and then the Eva Perazzi slaps for the E and the A. So that was like the more like, traditional sounding one. And then on this one I used the Eva Perazzi solos. So they're like a little looser, but they definitely still have like more closer to like a steel string sort of a tone. And like this bass now using the Presto Jazzicatos. I like medium tension and hybrid strings usually. Like I can't do like straight up gut sort of setups and stuff for like weed whackers or whatever. They're too loose. And then even like even like going over to like spirocores or something, like those are sometimes like a little bit too stiff for me, So it's always been like the middle of the road strings.
So when you say hybrid, you prefer like to use steels and guts?
No, like the strings that are like nylon and steel combos usually.
Okay.
Like the the Eva Perazzis, I think, are like a Perlon core or something. It's like some kind of like nylon, whatever, and then with like a metal wrap. And the Jazzicatos are just like Eurosonics basically. So they're like a metal core with a nylon wrap. And even like those the setup that I had with the in the studio, that like when I had the two guts, they were like nylon wrap too. So even then they would technically be some kind of hybrid. But
let me know about the rest of your gear since we started talking about a gear.
Yeah.
How about, are you using any preamps? What kind of pickups do you prefer? Amps? Any other effects?
Well, I'm a big fan of Vic's pickups. Victor's pickups. They're great. And he's got a great. He's great with his customer service policies too. I've definitely mailed in a few broken pickups, and early on, I mean, I feel like I haven't had to mail any back because now he was building them better all the time, and I feel like it's the most affordable, best sounding pickup that there is really, as far as like piezo pickups go. You know, I've been messing around just because I got bored while we were home for, you know, quarantining and everything. So I threw a magnetic pickup on this bass. I threw the Schaller on there just to mess around. But I still also have Vicks. I have Vicks pickup on the bridge, and yeah, I have one of those Deuce bridges on this bass. I don't have one on the Upton, but that thing's cool. Helps a lot with this because this bass, we did build it with like a little bit of an arc on the you know, on the top there, but over the years it's definitely like, you know, it's definitely sunk in and it's kind of flat. So I've had a few bridges kind of collapse on me. So the Deuce with that like opposing leg sort of design for the feet has been pretty stable. And yeah, and I like the way that he's got the thumb screw for the pickup. But yeah, and I've always like done it with like 2 pickups and 2 outputs usually, or and run it to 2 amps, or sometimes just the one signal going out to like a wireless to 1 amp. But I like the old school European way where you just use like a little crappy guitar amp for your slap sound, and then you know, run like the bridge pickup through your normal bass amp. But yeah, I don't have 2 wireless systems to run for that, so don't do that so much.
How about amps? Do you have like a preference for the amps?
Yeah, I've been a Gallion Kruger guy for a long time. Yeah, I have had the same 1001 for like the last, like, I don't know, 13, 14 years or something. And but I just got a Quilter when we were on tour with Setzer. I bought one of those. I bought the Quilter Bass Block 800, and that thing is great. We were opening for the Blasters for a tour, and like John Baz, their bass player, was super cool and let me use his gear a couple times. And yeah, he had one of those little Quilter heads, and I was like, I gotta get one of those. And yeah, so far so good with that thing. It's a lot of power and not a lot of knobs. You know, I feel like sometimes things have too many knobs, and you can spend all day. You can spend all day fiddling with stuff. Like even like I have the Fishman, it's not the Pro Platinum anymore. I don't know what it's called, but the newer Fishman preamp, which I have it just basically because it's got compression and some other stuff. But yeah, even then, too many knobs. And then another thing that I do that a lot of other people don't do, I think, is like, I'm a big fan of pushing your mids on your amp and like getting a lot of mid-range tone. A lot of people just dial that completely out. A lot of upright bass players, because I mean, you end up with a lot of feedback problems, you know, with mid-range frequencies. But you can kind of address that by, you know, like pickup placement kind of stuff, or you know, other gear, or a little bit of compression. But you know, where was I? Amps, gear, yeah.
I think you pretty much covered everything as far as gear go. I'm not sure if you're using any preamps or pedals.
Just that Fishman, the Fishman preamp.
And you're using Fishman always with Vicks pickups.
Yeah.
Do you have
tried like everything? And that's my dog Ribak.
Slap streaming her.
Good night.
You're going to bed?
I'm going to bed.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah.
I think I'll let you go soon, but
Yeah.
I would like to hear, do you have a process of creating your bass lines?
Get stoned. Step 1.
Yeah. Sometimes that's it. Yeah. No.
That inspires you?
Yeah.
All right.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like what do you feel at the moment, and then what can you build onto, and then once you build it, then you're like, well, what do I take away? Because you know, if you think about things or try and work on them too long, sometimes you'll end up like overthinking them, and yeah, one like a but basically also like sometimes taking what, like not always playing exactly what the guitar player is playing, you know, like you're going to hang on the root note, sure. But you can find other stuff to play. You can like, you know, like you can invert, like as long as you're playing in the same, you know, in the same sort of like scale, you can kind of like invert things and play like kind of what the guitar player is playing almost like backwards. And they're, you know, but yeah, like, so yeah, basically the process with me is like starting by what's the root note? What does it feel like? You know, then what do you add to it? And then what do you take away from it? And then, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Then you just add augmented 4.
Yeah.
When you were touring, were you always playing your basses, or you had to rely on the backline?
I've played a couple of backline things, like for.
How did that go? Did you have to adjust anything, or
yeah,
or you just play the way it is?
I've had to bring my own strings and pickups to things. Yeah, I remember playing a festival in Finland that I had to bring my own strings and pickups, and I played this bass that was like, you know, it was like a nice bass if you were a classical player. It was probably like a carved bass. It was like Psychobilly Festival. And I remember playing with that and, you know, struggling with that. And then the next band that was on, somebody was like playing like a nice like king bass or something. I was like, oh, that, you know, yeah, I had to play this thing, you know. But I played some lousy beater baseball bat neck Chinese basses for some shows. And you know, when you know you're gonna have to do one of those, you know, if you can't try and find somebody who you know what their setup is to borrow from, then yeah, like I brought my own strings, brought a pickup,
sandpaper so you can adjust the neck.
Yeah. When we went to Belgium for a month, and I had to use a loaner bass there, and it was like it was quite a beater. And you know, the action was like super high. I was like actually like trying to sand down the bridge, you know, because it was a fixed bridge. It wasn't even adjustable. So, you know, I'm trying to like take like half an inch, quarter inch off of the bridge. And then, you know, trying to like wedge a pickup in there and everything. Yeah. Like part of my road gear is usually like little pieces of wood for shimming pickups into stuff, sandpaper. What else do I bring usually? Oh yeah, soldering iron. Bring a soldering iron, learn to solder. Because sometimes pickups crap out and they're pretty easy to fix. Most of them, you know. Batteries. A spare one of everything.
It's hard to tour and then kind of like play different bass several times during a single run, and I definitely had that experience. I think the worst is if I don't have a chance to change, maybe I usually change strings. I often change the pickup, but sometimes have to sand the bridge, especially if I'm going to be using the whole tour, bass on a whole tour. But
how often do you have to do that?
It's been a while since I had to do that. It's been a while, you know. For example, with Drake Bell and Tiger Army, I played decent amount of time in Latin America, and then or Australia. I mean, Australia I did only once with Tiger Army, but the shows are so far from each other so that you can't even have your bass with you. It's kind of like almost impossible.
Oh, man.
And except if you want to fly with it and take a risk, but that's kind of, it can be very tricky and risky. But in US, I always tour with my basses. In Europe, I did tour with my basses. But I would say that in Mexico, I have a bass kind of like similar to mine, so it's that's easy. But I had, and I'm sure that I will have it. Will have to tour with other people's basses in the future, and I always try like to adjust it at least a little bit. I pretty much asked you everything I wanted to ask you. I would still like to hear you play. Do you have like one more for us?
Yeah, perhaps. I think Lara's gone to bed, so
So
no more Lara Hope.
all right,
But
so now it's just Matt Goldpaugh show.
yeah, I'll just play some of the bass line from the Arkhams song Next Time You See Me. Next time you try to cross my path, oh, I'm gonna cut you down to sign. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. That's about all we're gonna get. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Is there anything that you would like to mention, that you would like to promote, or something that I might have forgotten, like during the show?
I don't know, man. We've been on a while. I
Almost 2 hours.
yeah. I probably forgot a lot of things by now. I forgot what to remind you to remind me. Yeah, no, we went over. We got the Lara Hope the Arctones album coming out. We got that new Arctones, or the new Arkhams release. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a tour to announce with Tiger Army coming up soon. Who knows?
Who knows? All right, so I have one more question.
But,
So what inspired you to still do what you do after all these years?
well, I never really found anything else that worked, and yeah, music does a pretty good job of it, and I get to keep doing it with Lara, and that's been great, being able to have like a somewhat normal relationship, and still get to play music, and yeah, get to do it, get to have like mutual goals with my partner has been pretty great. So that kind of keeps me doing it.
That's very rare and amazing. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy for both of you. Thanks a lot for being a part of the Slapstream family.
Thanks for
And
having me. This is this is really cool. Being among all the great players that you've had on here. It's an honor. So thank you.
of course, and I hope I'm gonna see you play sometime soon in person. I mean, I enjoy the live streams, but in person is
Different.
something else. And you guys always sound great, and I'm sure our paths will cross again sometime soon.
Yeah.
All right. thanks, man.
Yeah, it was nice chatting with you. Thank you.
Please keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully see you soon.
All right. Be well.
All right, that was the 52nd episode of the Slapstream with Djordje live from Slapsville. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks to all the people that watched this episode live. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to slap that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up to, Matt, in this case. And it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I don't know why, but it really does. And I'm trying to promote slap bass as much as possible. If you haven't noticed that yet. And so if you'd like to support my work, if you'd like to support the Slapstream, make sure to go to the Patreon, HeadCat. I'm on all social media like HeadCat. And so go to Patreon, sign up. And if you don't like that, you can go to Venmo and PayPal. Those options are right under in the description in the video. Follow Art of Slap Bass, follow Matt, follow Lara, follow me if you're not following me on social media. And don't forget, never fret, slide it in smooth, and keep it in a groove. I'm Djordje, and I will see you next Saturday.